If you apply what I'm going to teach you in this video, you are going to transform every aspect of your life. You will find yourself going from success to success, whether it be in loving relationship, social experiences, your standard of living, where you live, the type of house you have, the car you drive. Absolutely everything in your life can and will change if you learn to do this one thing. And that one thing is to pray unceasingly. Now, when I say pray, a lot of people may think, oh no, this is religious, this is something I don't want to be a part of. Perhaps you have a negative past experience with religion. This has absolutely nothing to do with organized religion, which tells you there is a God outside of you, someone that is going to judge you and possibly send you to heaven or hell based on your good deeds or your mistakes. Nothing like that whatsoever will be talked about in this video. This video is about you and your infinite power to create what you desire by learning to properly use continuously the power of your subconscious mind, the power of the universe, source of all things, God within you, in order to create the life you desire moment by moment. I'll start off by saying that many people, when they learn about manifestation, law of attraction, law of assumption, they get very excited and they begin to practice. Maybe they learn Neville Goddard's method and they start imagining what they desire as though it's already true as they fall asleep. That is all well and good, but I want to tell you that it's not just before sleep that you are manifesting. You are actually creating your reality moment by moment all the time. You always have, and that is a difficult point for many people because it means taking responsibility for each and everything you've ever experienced. Any negative experience has been created by the actions of your mind. Whatever you're allowing yourself to think, whatever you're allowing yourself to believe, whatever you are feeling throughout the day, all your life, this is what's been creating each and every experience you've had. Now, when I say taking responsibility for this, do not be tricked by the ego, thinking that means it is your fault if something negative happened. Instead, responsibility is simply your ability to respond. How are you responding to physical circumstances, situations, and in truth, manifestations of your former states of consciousness? That is, you are being presented each moment with a reflection of yourself. Yourself meaning where you are abiding consciously, mentally, all the time. What you're experiencing physically now is simply a time-delayed reflection of your former states of consciousness. That is why the key to living the ideal life which you desire, which is greater than all your wildest dreams and your imagination, is to pray or manifest unceasingly. Instead of only imagining before sleep, maybe doing some visualization, affirmations here or there, you are going to transform your life into a conscious one. When you begin to live consciously, you are manifesting consciously, and therefore you are always accessing that divine power within you to create what you desire. So how exactly do we do this? How can you live perpetually in this state of accessing your highest power to manifest the good, to manifest the ideal in every way? The first step is to become aware of your conscious patterns. Are you constantly imagining arguments, maybe with your partner or your boss or your coworkers when you're in the shower? Are you thinking, oh, if I could just tell them off? Are you arguing mentally with the president? Are you arguing mentally with anyone? Are you stirring up negative feelings, thoughts, emotions within yourself all throughout the day? If so, that's the first thing you need to cut out, because these are creative acts. You may not create exactly what you're imagining, but rather it is the feeling that you are going to recreate. That feeling of being hurt, which you are reacting to, not responding to, reacting to in your own mind, is creative. So you have to be aware of this. You have to allow yourself to recognize, okay, maybe every time I spend money, I start thinking about lack. I start thinking about and feeling and identifying with lack, negativity, the feeling of not having enough. You want to break that. You notice it, and so not only do you stop that, you begin a new process of living consciously by choosing what you want to feel, think, believe, and identify with in that moment. So the next time you spend money, if you're that kind of person, instead of thinking of lack and how you're going to pay the bills, you're going to instead give thanks. Give thanks that you had enough for that current purchase. Give thanks for the use that that money has for you and what you're purchasing, how it's going to play a role in your life and add to your well-being, your comfort, your happiness. Focus on anything good and plant that seed in the mind instead. Now, it's not only related to money. You're going to do this with absolutely everything. Do you have relationships with people where you've been identifying with lack or negativity? Maybe you think people don't like you, or you think you don't like other people. You're allowing yourself to have these mental imaginings, which are all negative in nature. And then you're expecting yourself to imagine or visualize or affirm once or twice before you go to sleep, and you think it's all going to be hunky-dory. You think it's all going to be perfect. I have to tell you that this is not the case. The subconscious mind is always on, it's always listening. This is not to instill fear in you, but it's to remind you of who you're meant to be. Your conscious mind, that is you, your awareness, your understanding of what's going on in front of you right here, right now, the way you think, the way you feel, all of this is up to you. All of this is your responsibility. You have to use and practice and exercise your ability to respond to physical circumstances in a positive way. Anything that happens, reframe it. Find a way to be grateful. Find a way to give thanks. Find a way to look at the positive or see that maybe there's something you're not aware of yet. Maybe there's some reason this thing happened and it's going to teach you something. It's going to prosper you in some way, even if you don't understand how just yet. As you begin this process, you're going to be very surprised at how long you've been allowing yourself to dwell in negative states of consciousness all throughout your life. You're going to understand why so many seemingly negative things, whether it's something small like traffic or spilling coffee on your shirt, or big things like negative experiences in relationships or losing a job. You're going to understand how you actually created these things by aligning yourself with them mentally. You're going to break this pattern. You're going to learn to pray unceasingly by instead recognizing the negativity which you've been allowing to go on, these negative habits in thought, feeling, belief, and you're going to root them out. And you're instead going to plant new seeds of positivity in each and every area. In my personal experience, I find it wonderful to give thanks for absolutely everything, big or small. If I go on a walk, I give thanks for every step on that walk. I give thanks for every particle of air, fresh air that I get to breathe into the body, which prospers me and allows me to have this experience. I give thanks for the clothes I'm wearing, which keep me warm in the winter. You can do this too. It doesn't matter if you're on a walk or if you're at your job or if you're driving your car. There are so many things of which we can become thankful. And understand that your states of consciousness, that is what you're identifying with mentally, is going to create more of that in your experience. So if you're identifying with negativity and lack, you can expect more negativity and lack. But if you're identifying with gratitude, thankfulness, acceptance of things, then you're going to find more of that coming into your experience because it's all reflecting you. It's all reflecting your habitual states of consciousness. So the question is, are you actually going to commit yourself after this video to become the observer of your own mind, no longer allowing these negative thoughts, feelings, and imaginings to continue on, even if they give you pleasure? Some people get pleasure from that. They want to argue. They want to imagine road rage. They want to imagine fighting. They want to imagine all of these negative things because they get a little bit of pleasure from it. But you have to understand that when we have this addiction to stress, to cortisol, to negativity, that is only because we've created this pattern, we've created this habit, and it can be broken. You can instead install a habit of positivity, which is going to create, like I said, a life in which you go from success to success. It doesn't mean nothing bad will ever happen, no problems will actually occur in your life. It's not going to be 100% smooth. That's not ideal. And that's not ideal because you would stagnate. Many people think, if I could just get settled, if I could just get that $10 million, then all my problems would be solved forever. No, they wouldn't, because you would have that, and then you're going to realize, oh, I have the seeming problem of needing to get a lawyer. I have the seeming problem of needing to understand finances so I don't blow all this money. You're going to realize that no matter what it is that you think is going to keep you safe or be the ideal experience and the super easy thing where you don't have to do anything, it's not actually what's best for you because we are creative beings that are meant to expand. We, like the universe itself, are infinitely expanding. The subconscious mind is infinitely expanding, getting more and more power and intelligence each and every moment now. So when you step out of that, when you're seeking just comfort rather than prosperity, then you are putting a limit on yourself. And we are not limited beings. You can imagine that you are, you can live in the belief in limitation and have that experience, but in truth, you are limitless. And the goal here is to establish the mental patterns which are going to allow you to experience that limitlessness. You're going to find that there's no limit to your prosperity. There's no limit to what you can achieve. There's no limit to who you can be. The question is, can you get into the mindset of living as the being that is that person now? That is that version of you in that timeline, that ideal self here and now. The version of you who is always willing to grow, always willing to seek out and eliminate all these negative patterns that have been established either through childhood trauma or societal programming or from watching the news or being on social media. Not that you need to demonize any of these things or look at them as negative or completely shut them out of your life. No matter how negative some of these things may seem, they all have value in some way, so there is no point in demonizing them. The key is to learn from them. The key is to understand how you can take any circumstance, any situation, and look on the bright side. Because when you do that, when that is your natural way of being, when you always find yourself to be the success that you desire to be, when you always find yourself being able to give thanks for anything, even if you don't understand exactly how it's serving you yet, you're going to find that it's all playing a role in your greatest good. This takes trust, but it will not take long. As you start to live your life consciously in this way, you're going to see changes happen rapidly. So do this, pray unceasingly, and do not be like the people who only manifest when a problem comes up. You have to unite yourself with the infinite power of God, source, universe, and when you pray unceasingly, you're doing that each and every moment. That's what you're supposed to do. That's how you're meant to live, and that's how you live your greatest good, instead of letting the old patterns take over again. So that being said, I don't want you to close out this video and say, oh yeah, that was all nice and good, sounds great, and then get back into your old patterns. Actually use this as a wake-up call. Do not live unconsciously any longer. Don't let your subconscious patterns of negativity hold you back from your ideal life any longer. You have no idea how fast things can change for you if you will consciously make the effort to change these mental patterns. So be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you need your manifestation, watch this video right here. As always, thank you so much for watching. I love you all very much, and I will see you next time. Take care.